Hey there, everybody! I'm here. This is live. Finally, we've got a good stream in. I'm sorry about all the trouble this morning. There's some things that I have the power to fix, some things I don't. So all I can do is say sorry. Hey, thanks for being here. There's not very many logged on right now. For some reason, the stream is not showing up on the main channel page, but I sent a link out, so hopefully to my email list, and so hopefully we'll have more people showing up here. Okay, I'm going to refresh my page, a make sure we've got a good reading on what's happening here. Let me see if I can do this without destroying it. So I got on the normal go live page, on the normal startup page to start this live stream, and all the buttons are missing. There's some kind of a malfunction. I'm using Google Chrome browser, and I had no idea what to do about that. All the buttons are missing. The stream is choppy. It's messed up, so I'm scrambling. Anyway, long story short, I switched over to Microsoft, and so I'm using the main browser for I don't know what you call it now. Their Internet Explorer current version, whatever it is, because I am on a PC. So all of you techie people out there, maybe you know exactly what happened. I have no idea, except that when I just switched browsers, maybe I'll just have to do this from now on. So thanks a lot for bearing with me. I probably lost quite a bit of viewers in the process of trying to fix that. Anyway, I'm determined to get progress made on this painting that's behind me. Man, I was working on this weeks ago. Accidentally had the camera pointing at my front of my shirt when I was explaining what I was painting. I'm done with that setup. We're doing this one now. So we'll take a moment and make sure everything's working properly. And so, hello, ED2677 from Atlanta, Georgia. All right, cool. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you tuning in and spending the time. Hey, welcome back, Val. Thanks for being here again. Man, you are all so patient about this. There are always those few viewers that log in and are just angry that things aren't going the way they're supposed to. I'm like, there is no such thing as supposed to. There's just what happens, and I just only have so much control. Sometimes we're fortunate that it goes our way. So we're gonna get going with some painting here. I want to give some people some time to show up and make sure that I've actually got things working properly. Let's see how many we've got here. Let's see how many viewers we're up to. It seems that I have to just refresh my page. All right. I see 5 of you so far. 6. We're up to 6. Thank you for being here. Good to have you all. And I'm going to do a quick check here. Okay, quick check. Leave me a few comments in the live chat if you can think of something fun and obnoxious to say there for me. Start the day off with some lightheartedness, I hope. I've got my morning voice. I can hear it. It's all crackly, and I get up in the morning, I have a voice, but as the day wears on, it really does start to diminish. I've been spending the last couple weeks with my brother Ben, and we were filming multiple paint projects that are all going to go into like a really nice educational package on doing water landscapes, and just a new project, just another Mural Joe project I'm working on. And oh man, I was worried we weren't going to be able to do it. My voice was just, so I started reading up on strategies. I was like, man, this is getting real. I have to start doing some homework on strategies to save my voice. So one of the strategies is to sip on some water, just constant sipping. So I'm going to be doing that, just a sip. And I did notice that helped me quite a bit to survive the day. I just have to remember, it's very dry here. I don't know if the dry climate makes a difference, but lately it's been humid. We've been getting some rain finally in Arizona, and it's been very beautiful. Okay, audio's good. Leave me comments. Let me know if anything is looking weird out there, so that I can be made aware. I'm multitasking, so it is very helpful if you let me know when anything seems like it's going wrong or malfunctioning. I have the wrong camera on. Some of those things are just me needing to be better at my job. Okay, I want to say hello to Leanne, who is here. All right, so glad that you're back, Leanne. I wasn't sure if I was going to see you again. Epitome Hawk, same thing. Thank you. I saw you the first time. I fired up the first live stream. I saw all your comments on there. I was like, oh man, these are my very supportive people right here, and I have to just cut off this live stream and leave you hanging. I didn't have a choice. It wasn't working. All right. Oh, you got the email. Good. Thank you for telling me you got the email. I wonder how much of a delay there is on that. And so, like I was saying at the beginning of this stream, that I forget what I was going to say just now. I blanked it out. I sent that out, and I wasn't sure how much of a delay there was going to be. Okay. So let's go back over. I got to make sure both of my cameras. I'm going to show you the painting that I'm working on. And you've seen it if you've been tuned into these live streams lately. Of course, lately right now means several weeks ago was the last one where I was falling apart, man. I couldn't keep going. So I'm going to cut to the other camera and make sure this is working properly. We're gonna finish this one, so it's a bit spotty. Spotty as in we've got 3 paintings going on right here. So right here is the painting that I'm working on, and this is old. This was a earlier live stream. So I'm going to be expanding this out, and what I failed to show you last time was how I was doing the sky. So I'm going to spend a little more time doing a pretty sky, filling in this background, just completing this scene a little bit more. And so I'm seeing that it would probably be good to brighten up our settings just a tad. I think they were a little bit dark on the camera. So give me a minute. Let me apologize for my ugly face being in there at the moment, but I think we need just a bit more brightness on this guy. Let's go here. And let's bump this thing down to there. How about that? Alright, we got a little bit brighter picture on that camera now. And I'm going to switch back over. Hang on, I'm off camera. We're going to switch to this one. Okay, here I am. I'm back. Okay, is that a successful switch? Was everything fine? I'm hoping it was. Like I said, I just want to be sure this time that I'm doing things right before I get all, deep into a painting and I'm oblivious to some bad malfunction or something. Okay. Leanne says, been waiting for the new live stream so long. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very encouraging. I was getting concerned. I know. We're all concerned. You don't see someone for a while and we all think, oh man, do they have the virus? Yeah. People are getting it here. We've got in this area, because this is the hot topic right now, it's kind of fun to give the real updates on what's going on. We have family that has tested positive for COVID. We've seen people in our close circles of friends that have it. I had like a fever and chills the other day, but it went away in like one day. It was gone. I feel like when I watch the news that's getting broadcasted to the world, it's like times 10 the extreme of if you just kind of took an average of everything going on. It's just not that extreme. Yes, bad things are happening, but I don't think the picture as a whole is as extreme as media wants it to be for ratings. Okay, so I'm doing good. My family is all well, and we are surviving, doing fantastic, enjoying the beautiful summer weather. And thank you, Leanne, for for wondering about me and being concerned. I really appreciate that. Okay, successful switch. We're going to get started doing some painting. Let's go over here, and you can see that I've got a bunch of paints behind me. And so I will be painting out of cans again. We've got white, we've got blue. I was thinking maybe I should switch. To these from now on. You know what I like about these plastic ones? This is the standard like sample quart you would buy at Sherwin-Williams, just the paint store I go to most of the time. And the paint really builds up on these rims, and I can't close the lids very well. You know, they don't go on tight anymore. So you can see I just pop them off with my hand, because even if I hit them with a hammer, it'll just bend them up because they don't fit. From all the dry paint, it just happens over time. And so I was thinking, man, I should use these because they peel. The paint peels off, and I can keep going with it. And I like the screw-on cap for storage. I feel a little more confident about that screw-on cap because of my way of painting. So this is cool, you know. This day and age, when so many paint companies have made small sample, much less expensive paint available in sample size quantities. I mean, you can get containers for less than $10 at most paint companies now, and I just think that is so convenient for practicing painting. It's just fantastic. I love to paint this way, out of cans, because it's not very often that I'm painting something that I want to keep long term. I'm just trying to learn, have a good time, make a video, and so being able to just fly through larger quantities of paint is really convenient for me. So these are the same paints, and a lot of you already know, just for those of you who might be watching this wondering what I use. These are wall paints, and it's the same thing that you would paint any wall with. It's acrylic, latex paint, water base, and I just keep a container of water handy so that I can just rinse out my brush. I use it just like artist acrylics. Same way you would do that, except that I have these convenient containers. And so what I'll do is grab my brush. Where did I put that brush here? Let's find, well, here's a good one. It's not the one I had, but it's a good one. It'll work. Man, I'm always losing my brush. Okay, I can't forget to switch cameras when I actually get up there and start painting. I wish that I could hear. You know, what I really like about workshops is that I can hear your feedback. Okay, so in a moment I'm going to get up there and start painting and show you how to do some color mixing. Something that I came across as we were doing this last project, my brother and I, was just how helpful it is to pre-mix a purple color or a couple different purple colors. And so I want to talk about that a little today. I think it's a fun new trick that I learned that is very helpful. And so all I need to do is find something that I can mix it in. And I thought that I had some little containers around here, so I'll just have to mix some on a lid. This will be my container. We'll just use this guy. I'm going to read some of the live chat just in case I'm missing anything. And so we've got a few more people showing up. Very good. Thank you for being here. I'm so curious if this is showing up on the main page on the Mural Joe channel. I still don't think it is. You know, I think that if you go to my channel, for some reason this is not showing up, so not as many viewers as normal. I'm going there now, seeing. No, I don't see it. It's not on the page. So I empathize with those who are frustrated that these links are not. I mean, say live show where? I'm sorry, I don't know how to fix that. Anyway, I'm glad that you're here. So Mary C is here. Thank you, Mary C, for joining. She says, I missed everyone. All right. Good. This is a fantastic community here. You know, I love all of the encouraging comments that are always streaming. We've got Joppa Cat. Hurrah, I made it. Yes, you made it. Thank you for making it. I'm glad you're here. You know, I want you all to know that I really respect your time, and I feel like it gets kind of disrespected when I say we're going to do a show at this time, then it's late, and then it goes on. We have technical. I really do feel bad about all that. It's just that I can't fix it. But I want you to know that I deeply appreciate you just hanging out, taking the time, bearing with me, and cutting the time out of your schedule to join me on these live streams. Dennis is here. Good to see you again, Dennis. Back again, indeed. Upstate New York. All right, Joppa Cat, cool. You know, I still have never been to New York. I would love to go there. Leanne says, checking the you were checking the YouTube channel. Nope, didn't post there. I know, that's frustrating. Like I said, I'm using a different browser. I normally am using Google Chrome because you would think Google Chrome, that's going to work because it's YouTube owned by Google and Google Chrome is the browser to use. No, it wasn't. It didn't work. So I just switched browsers. But maybe, you know, I don't want to get in the habit of criticizing things that I do not understand. I really just don't understand it all. Who knows what's the real reason that I'm having technical difficulties here. Yep, stuff happens indeed. Thank you, Val. Okay, we've got enough of you watching. I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to get started with some paint. So let's go over here. And Green and Lush says, oh man, I would love to be there. I would love to go see that. You know, I grew up in Ohio. Okay. I'm going to switch cameras, and I'm going to, actually, I don't know. Let's before I switch cameras, let me mix these colors so you can see what I'm talking about with this purple. So let me pull this guy open right here. Oh, look. Well, that's happy. I have these. I got containers. These are perfect. This is just what you want, you know, for mixing. It's funny. I can't tell you how many things I lose by putting them where they go. Do you know what I mean? Do you do that? If you're a person that is easily distracted, inspiration driven, in the moment, it's a personality type, you know. I feel like you can relate to that. You lose things by actually putting them where they go. But you're so used to putting them not where they go that you don't think to look in the very place where they belong. So here in my toolbox, I've got just what I need, but I didn't think to look in the toolbox. Let's make some purple. I like to start with white because white is very easy to darken, but dark colors are not very easy to lighten. So I like to use these to just wipe the paint on it. And so if you make a purple, then I want to show you how convenient this is to use when you're making atmosphere. So you can see this a little bit on this camera. When I make things more distant, okay, like these rocks that I'm going to build out, put more background when I make the clouds, the sky. To make atmosphere, the effect of things being further in atmosphere, I don't just add blue, so I have a blue sky. I would think blue sky, blue atmosphere, I'll add blue. But with paint, it turns a little bit toward, everything moves a little toward yellow, green as you mix paints. And so if you use purple, then purple looks more lifelike to what light is doing out there that we're looking at, that we're trying to imitate. We want it to look like a lit up atmosphere, like what we see out in nature. And so by adding the purple, we get a more lifelike atmosphere. And you'll see what I mean after I do this. So let's put some magenta. And you know, I work a lot from primaries. I'm going to work just straight from these primaries on the painting. But I learned in the process of making a instructional video where I'm trying to teach, I was learning as I went. And you know, they say, you know, you learn by teaching. And so I'm going to show this trick. I'm going to pre-mix a purple that is just closer to what I need. So I'm just saving myself the work of mixing this 100 times over the course of my painting. I did phthalo blue, I did magenta. Compared to my Grumbacher acrylics, the magenta is most like a color called Theo Violet. And so I might have that laying around. It's like this. This is it. This is actually a, oh, that's oil. I've got oil and water base in here. But this is a water base tube. This is very similar to this magenta right here. Just about the exact same thing. You can see the color when I tip that can. And so I mix that with phthalo blue, just the darkest, boldest blue that you can find. That's what this is right here. And so in most paint stores, they have one blue, and they pigment everything with a blue that is very similar to phthalo blue right out of a tube. And so when I go into Sherwin-Williams, my favorite paint store, I say, will you give me a deep base, which is just the liquid that the pigment is put inside of to make paint. Deep base with as much of that blue pigment as possible. And that's how I get all these colors, actually. I just say, put all of that pigment into a deep base. A deep base is transparent, you know, and there are different kinds of bases. And I think this is what's different about artists' tubes versus wall paints, is for the most part, an artist paint is just pigment with maybe a transparent base, and there's not very much of that base. It's probably mostly pigment, which makes it terrible for resisting abuse and weather. But a piece of art doesn't usually need to, and so they're good. They're good for their purpose. These are good for practicing and painting murals that are going to be touched and interacted with a lot, where the sunlight is going to shine on it more than it would in a controlled gallery kind of a setting where water is going to get on it. You know, these are very good for more practical interaction with the piece. Okay, here's my color. So do you see how I mixed? It doesn't look so purple, but this is the most purple color I can mix right here. And so I'm going to use this to create atmosphere in my painting. So whenever I'm adding that in, I'll let you know so that you can see the fantastic difference that it makes. And I can also, you know, I'll show you something fun. We can do one here. Let's just mix two of them to get set up, because I think this is really valuable for setting yourself up for success with this strategy, is to make a light one and make a dark one. So that's what I'm going to do, because if I put the light one in my dark colors, it's mostly just going to make them gray, you know, like light gray. It's mostly white when it mixes with something very black, like dark shadows that I want to be closer. If I put that light purple in there, it's not going to be as good of a distance atmosphere effect as if I just use a darker color. And I can just do it from the primaries, but I have found this to be so much more convenient to just have these ready, just pre-mixed magenta, purple. You can also do red and blue for a less vivid purple. That's just user preference, whatever you want to call it, artistic license. How vivid do you want the colors in your painting? You know, if you want it to look like a Pixar film with vivid colors, then go with the brightest purple you can find, because paint is always less vivid than what you can get on a screen, you know. Okay, so I've got magenta and blue. I'm going to add some white, but not as much. And this will be my dark purple for adding to my dark colors. And this is going to allow me to get a much more lifelike landscape with atmosphere separating my layers of depth. So let's compare the two right now. Let's compare these and see what they look like. We've got purple right here. I love that purple. Man, I think what I love most about color is understanding what it accomplishes. When you see the purpose something has, all of a sudden it has this beauty. I'm looking at that purple like, oh yeah, that's a good purple. I don't just look at purple anytime and think I love purple, but okay, not that different. So what I'm going to do is lighten the one, not lighten the other. But this one is darker. I think that it's a little bit harder to see on camera. Let's see what it looks like on the other camera. Here, let's switch for a second. And let's see, okay, other camera. Right here, right here. See, one is significantly darker than the other, but that camera has a lot better color. So what I'm going to do is just lighten this one. I'll have a light one and a dark one. Let's go like this. Okay. Did I get the right one? Hang on 1 second. They are very similar. Very similar. Okay. White. This is going to be for my light colors. That one's going to be my darks. We'll add white to that one. And just to make it more crystal clear here, I'm actually going to add more of my dark colors to the other one as well. Okay, so this one, this is my dark purple. I don't think every painting needs to have purple in it, but I know that when I'm doing misty waterfalls or distant hills, I know that I'm going to want to use that for distance. Well, in like a daytime light setting. I think if I was doing, you know, sunset lighting, maybe I'd alter those colors a little bit more. Okay, now we've got this one, and that is very, very purple. Okay, now you can definitely see the difference. So we've got these right there. There, one light, one dark. Dark purple, light purple. And I just used phthalo blue and magenta. I'm going to keep those handy with my primaries, and we'll get started painting. So I'm going to take one last look. So anything that you want to be mentioned right now, just leave a comment on the live stream that I'm about to look at. Live chat. I get live stream, live chat mixed up. I'll take one quick look at that before I start painting. A little bit harder for me to turn around and see all of the comments as they're rolling in. And there's about a 10-second delay on this at the moment. All right, it looks like we are up to something like 25 viewers. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I'm very happy that you're able to tune in. And so, using white for indirect light and yellow for saturation when light is from sunlight. I'm reading Mary C's comment at the moment. I still can't get it correct. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to make things hard, you know. I try to just post helpful things, but sometimes they end up being hard things. Light is from sunlight. Yeah, well, okay, so what Mary C is talking about, I want to address this. The difference, and this is valuable because this relates to the purple thing here. When light shines through something, this is helpful to remember if you want to understand what color is doing out there. When light shines through something, that something will shift the color toward yellow. And so if it changes, and this is a generalization, I'm sure you could find exceptions if you really searched, but really it's very consistent. So when light shines through something, it shifts toward yellow. When light bounces off of something, it seems to go the opposite direction. It goes away from yellow toward purple. So we're going to be doing a lot of atmosphere and light bouncing off of things. We're not doing when in our layers, in our atmosphere, in our landscape, we're not going to make a lot of light shining through things, because light doesn't shine through a mountain, a rock, big things. You don't see light coming through that, except maybe to some very small degree in little shapes, you know. But since it's reflecting and bouncing all over the place, it seems to move more toward purple. So remember that we have purple, and then way over here we have yellow. So when it goes through something, the light that we see coming through something it shifts toward yellow the more it's getting filtered. And then when it bounces off of something, it goes the other way. It's just a fun principle. I like to call it the rule of shifting hues. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about that. What a luscious color, indeed. Here in the UK, all right, Dennis, thanks. Oh, I forgot that you're in the UK. 250 uh, sample pots of masonry paint to paint with. All right, milliliter, 250 milliliter. You know, you do metrics there, so well, we do that too. I guess milliliters is familiar here too. All right, cool, man. You got lots of stuff to paint with. That's awesome. Having lots of paint to practice with is the best. I love it. You know, get in a messy space, a garage, and work on stuff that you don't care about. I think that's just the best way to get better. Couldn't see the difference on the other camera. Too dark. Well, there's a difference. We'll see. Yeah, maybe my cameras aren't the best. From Canada, Naomi Jennings is here. All right, sweet. Thanks for being here, Jenny. And hello, Judith. Glad you're here as well. Gonna get some paint today. All right, sweet. That's great. And we've got. I struggle with this also. Yeah. Well, you know, I know I relate to the struggle. You know, I definitely have put in hours, months, years into just thinking through these same struggles. You know, I just feel like I had an attention span to just stay with it so much longer than ordinary. Hi, Pollineri. Thanks for the shout out. Thanks. You just woke up. All right. I feel like I just woke up too, but I've actually been up for a while. Okay. Let's not make this too boring. We've been doing lots of talking, not a lot of painting. I just wanted to give a lot of people a chance to find the stream, but we better get to the actual painting part here. So we've mixed our two purples, and so now we're going to cut over to this view right here, and I'm going to start painting on this scene. So we've got my purple brush here. So this is a good example here. Let's just put some background in here. I'll go right over here and make sure that we can see over there. I'll zoom in just a touch. We'll get a little bit tighter view there. Close in. I want you to see it right in here. And I'm going to use this purple to put a believable looking background of these hills and waterfalls in front of sky. Let's get the excess out of my brush. No big deal about the canvas because I'm using that in all my colors anyway. I'm going to go up here and make a sky. So just real quick to cover up the old painting and to get a good view of where I'm going with this, we're going to do white and then we'll put blue on it. We'll go like this. So I like to make a gradient on the sky. You know, any kind of gradient. I'm not. The more I do this, the less particular I get about exactly how it is. But I notice that there is more depth. For some reason, I don't know if it's because of all of the soft edges. So you see me blending like this. So this is what I mean by a soft edge. It doesn't just change from blue to lavender or white, whatever you call that color. It doesn't just change, it's a gradual change, but that's a soft edge. It's an edge where one thing changes to another. It's a soft edge because it's blurry. But this is how you make depth, is you have soft edges behind hard edges. So when I put a horizon or a tree or a rock or some object in front of this, it comes forward a lot more so than it would if this was all just a solid color. So we definitely could have a sky that was a solid color, especially in something just framed out little like this. We might not see that gradient that we always love with the lighter horizon and the darker top. That's my initial reason for making this gradient is to make a natural looking sky that's got more atmosphere down low and has, you know, the atmosphere is thinner as you look straight up, so it gets darker. But from an artistic standpoint, it is to your advantage to just make some gradient because of how well that goes back. A gradient behind sharp edges, a gradient behind objects separates them very effectively. So I'm going to put my darker blue up there. I just wisp them all together. This is where I really like these I really like these cans of paint because I can just load them on and brush away. We've got a little hill there. I had clouds, but I'm not going to keep them because anybody that was watching that video was staring at my t-shirt the whole time I painted those. And not the painting. That was my bad. And so let's put just a little bit more of this darker blue up here. You know, it's fun sometimes to get just a little bit of, just to get a little bit more. If you're going to put clouds, to get a little more pop in those clouds, you can de-intensify the sky. So watch, I'll just take pure black, and this seems like something you wouldn't want to do because, you know, black is a scary color in painting. It just takes over. But if I add a little bit of that to the blue and darken this sky, then when I put clouds over this, it is going to look so much more illuminated. So here's blue and black. I'm going to put some white in, and I'm just going to let these blend together and make whatever little shapes. I don't need like a real organized, smooth gradient. I just want to get rid of hard edges and extreme color changes. Just get it mostly blended together. And then we'll call the rest clouds. You know, whatever is left behind. So I'm just grabbing from one spot, putting it on another spot. I go dark light, dark light, dark light, dark light, dark light, and that distributes the colors quicker than if I just blend across those colors. And then I do one final pass like this. The paint is now getting too dry to work, so I might be able to just squeeze in a bit more of this white down here. This edge is still just a little bit more wet. Right here. Now I did not use any purple in that sky, any of my pre-mixed purple, but you'll see just what a great look it is when I start using it in the landscape that is meant to look like it's mixing with this sky. So all it is, you know, you've heard me talk about, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you've heard me talk a lot about using magenta. And so it's just a shortcut to using the magenta. All right, I'm staring at my painting, staring at it, thinking, let's put some landscape in there. So I think that we could put some rocks. So let's say that we have some kind of a blackish colored rock. Black. And then let's say we want to add atmosphere to that. So let's take the light, hang on, let me find that light. Oh, it's right here. The light purple, and I'm just setting it right up there on top of my paint can. See that light purple there? I'll just put it right there on my cans and dip into it when I need to. And we'll go over here and I'll show you how we can just use that to create lots of atmosphere. So here's my purple, and the more I add to this, the more this is going to be like some kind of a big rock that's far away. Now I only mixed 2, so I can mix 10 different shades of purple if I really wanted to get accurate with how much should be added to each thing, depending on how far away and how buried in that atmosphere I want it to look, because I need to get closer and closer to the sky color. So this is pretty much the limit on how light and distant I can go. So if we want to go more light and distant, now I'll go sky color for something real far away. So watch this, white and blue is what I put in the sky. And so maybe my very furthest layer is almost exactly like the sky, but I just add a bit of this black into it, and whenever I add the black for my landscape, which is just a chosen color, it doesn't always have to be any color, but whenever I add some dark color for shadows in my landscape, I also have to add purple. So here I'm just making the ratio mostly sky with a little bit of this added into it. So now look how this comes forward when I go to it with this next, there's my purple and black mix. And I put that in front of this. So now we have a closer hill. So this seems like a good place to put a little bit of waterfall coming down. So let's go in here and let's put some white. And let's go like this. Let's put waterfall going right here. And if you just make it darker down here, you know, a little bit darker here, it'll make it like it's lit up at the top. You know, we've got light hitting the top, and then just by dragging that brush down, it's darker as it mixes in. You know, I'm going over wet paint here. Let's scramble it up a little bit, get a few little clouds in there. Maybe I'll dab the brush a little bit. If it's a big waterfall, it might be breaking up into clouds as it falls. Like that. Here, let's do a little bit more in there. Let's go. There, it's not huge, you know. Not a huge waterfall, but look how it looks very distant. Okay, let's put a little bit more in there. This is kind of fun. Let's go this way. We don't always have to go straight down. I kind of go through like this. I leave the white at the top, and I just let that atmosphere color mix into it right there. And look, we can put little ones going down this way, some going down this way, this way. Who knows where they might trickle? You know, you can make little waterfalls kind of zigzagging around wherever you want to put them. And this is just distant, you know. We can just blend it all together and leave it a kind of a messy, foggy background to get that effect. I've just put a little dot of white at the top so it looks like it's lit up from above. But how about some closer objects now? So let's go to black again, because I'm just thinking rocks. I'm just thinking that we've got rocks that are something for this waterfall to flow over. So we're going to have to see this get covered up a little bit. We'll save some of it. Purple and black. We're going to get even closer. So now that I'm getting darker, maybe I want to use my darker purple. So let's use this one now. Let's go like this. Now the goal is not to have a purple landscape. You can see that the purple turns into a very gray color as it gets closer. So maybe on this one, this is where you can adjust. You know, if this, after it mixes with my black, if this looks too ridiculously purple, which I like, you know, it has kind of a fun, vibrant fantasy feel, but it is an exaggeration of reality. It's more of a subtle effect when we see it in nature. And so if it's too extreme, you can just adjust that purple color, no big deal. So watch, I'll put some blue. Let's say I'm a little heavy on the magenta. Let's go more of that phthalo blue in the mix there. And so now to me this feels a little more lifelike on the balance of the color. So the principle here is still the same, that we can just pre-mix a purple color. So now that I've established that I think my color is just a bit on the red-violet side, why don't I just adjust it? Here's my color that I'm going straight out of, and so I'll just put more blue in there and pre-mix a batch of it. I think that this is where this is an easy thing to get real hung up on. That this is a sticking point, is being able to quickly adjust a landscape to the right atmosphere color as you're painting if you're trying to use my normal method of working straight from primary. So I realized, I was like, man, this is easier if we just pre-mix these couple of shades of violet for this. This makes the whole job just easier. Okay, so why don't I like wrap this around me, make it come closer to me over here on this edge. So let's move over there just a bit, like this. There's the edge of my painting, and I want to see that. I want to see that turn into landscape. So here, let's take some of the sky, move that over, and so let's put. You know what would be easier than putting more blue sky and trying to make that blend in? Is just putting the edge of a cloud right here. So let's put a bright cloud. I like to start with white. Now, do you remember me saying that we can just shift if we want light to go through something, then we shift it toward yellow, right? So if we have a cloud that is, let's say it's a gray violet. So let's just establish a believable shadow color. That looks like a pretty ordinary shadow color for the cloud, right? It was already in my brush. It's a gray violet. So if I want this to look like light is coming through it, now white, pure white, is already shifted a little bit toward yellow from this, just because because it's an even balance, where this is weighted toward purple. This is an even balance of all the colors, so that makes this not as purple as this, right? Follow my reasoning, but I can enhance this more. So I can make this more red. And so if purple moves toward yellow, it might turn more red. So let's put red right in here. Okay, but we're doing it where it's brighter. We're not doing it in the darker shadows. We're doing it over here where I've added white. And so I'm getting brighter as I go out, right there. And then it's going to get darker and more purple. So I got to work on the darker part. So my red is a very dark color. Now I want it to look more red. And this is a good example to look at. I want this to turn more red as it glows brighter. So I need to correct the brightness. Either this needs to get darker or this needs to get lighter in order to fully have my effect. Not that I can't leave it like that. Maybe maybe it would be a cool effect for something else, but I want to keep this a good demonstration of how this works here. So let me just shortcut to my dark purple, pre-mixed right out of that little pre-mixed cup that I made. That's my darker purple that I'm going to use for atmosphere. I'm just putting it in this shadow. And so now this cloud is darker and closer to purple, which follows my rule of shifting hues. So then as I move over here, it's turning more red. And it doesn't have to be primary red. It just means whatever shade of gray it is. It's just a more red shade of gray in order to look like light is really popping through that cloud. And I can also add a little bit of yellow to that to make the shift more extreme. You can choose how extreme you make that. So this is just a very subtle shift. It's just barely shifting right there. So I went from the purple to the red to pure white. It gets more red as it gets lighter. And so now if I add just a touch of yellow, which is kind of a messy process when you've already got purple in your brush, because it's not going to look like a great color, but it'll still do the trick if I mix it in. So we've got yellow, and now I have to make sure I add just a bit of red again, because I'm kind of heavy on that yellow, and if I'm too heavy on that yellow, it'll go green. I don't want that. But you can see the effect right here. So this cloud is not even bright. This cloud is actually pretty dark, dirty colors from my brush not being rinsed out as I'm working. But I shifted the hue to get the effect of a glow. And so the glow doesn't happen from having the brightest white paint that I can find. The glow happens from that pattern of colors that's right there. So all I have to do now is, let me get my, I don't like the yellow, so I'm just going to take this gray, so it's just going purple to red to yellow, all within a shade of gray, because it's all mixing together, all very similar color here. I can even come over here and put a little spot of light coming out of the cloud. It's the color that does the work. It's having that color right there. Just blend it this way. Now there's a little hole in that cloud. So we can go like this and take pure white now and put a real bright little edge on this cloud. And with that black that I added to the sky, we have a lot more payoff with this glow effect. If we want this backlit, bright, sunny look, darkening the sky helps us get the contrast. So the bright white and the dark sky is a big help, but it's not what causes it to look like light necessarily. You know, we have these things working together in order to give us that effect. Okay, so there's a cloud. Well, I guess painting sky would have been easier. I started this saying, oh, maybe it'll be easier just to put a cloud. Easier isn't always shorter. Okay, so now I've got a cloud. I'm ready to put my landscape over it. I'm going to go like this and put black and my dark purple, because we're getting closer now. So let's bring this up here. High hill coming right off the picture like this. Let's go right here and we'll put a little bit of shape on here. Like maybe there's some little bushes or something on there. Just take this dark purple, put it in there, and I've got more black here. I need to be braver. Let's not be too scared to actually put paint on the painting. There, it's very close. See, this is very close, but still far enough to have atmosphere in there. And so we want just the right amount of purple that it turns it into this gray, blue, violet color in the shadows. So if we go, you know, you'll definitely notice if you go too far with the magenta, if you go too far toward the red violet. But if you go just blue like this sky, it's not going to have that atmosphere look. And so we want to have that color in there. Now let's take a little bit of yellow, pure primary yellow right here, and I'll put a tiny bit of phthalo green. So this is just green and yellow, and I'll just dab it and put some little highlights in here. Hey, let's put some pure white on top of that and see what happens. There we go, cool. We got some vegetation on there, on that land formation here. Let's do a little more of those three colors. Phthalo green, bright yellow, and some, I don't need much white, so I'll just put a tiny bit. White kind of takes away the color, and then you don't get as nice of an effect. Just put a few little dabs. Who knows, maybe it's moss, maybe it's trees. I guess we have yet to decide as the picture develops. I just wanted to have the atmosphere, closer colors. And if you do, you know, once you have all of that colored shadow in there, look, you can do black and white. Let's take black and white. And this is the sun striking a more brownish colored rock, perhaps, because gray, when surrounded by blue and purple, is going to take on a more brown colored look, because the other direction, you know, in contrast to something so blue, a gray, the gray always takes on the opposite. You know, since gray is neutral, the appearance of gray on any bright color, it's going to have the opposite hue, because it has what that bright color does not. Does that make sense? Gray has everything. A bright color has just part of the spectrum. So when you put gray on purple, one part of the spectrum, well, the rest of the spectrum is showing up in the gray, and we notice it. And so the gray looks much browner. So I have this highlight on here that can look like, it doesn't just look like complete plain colorless gray anymore. It actually looks like an interesting landscape color when I put that gray on an already bluish background like that. So just a few highlights. We can put them in there in between my green spots to create a landscape. So let's make something further. Let's make further hills now. Here's my lighter purple, and I'll just mix that with the colors already in my brush, because I just made this whole scene. So let's go like this, like that, put that lighter color in there. There. That's my lighter of the two purples. And this makes another distant hill for me. Let's put more in there. Let's get more of that. Now I feel like this one also is maybe heavily weighted on the purple side. So So maybe I'll adjust that one with blue as well. Here, let's put blue in both. I can just do it out of the can. I mean, you get the point. You choose how blue or how red to make it. So this one looks a little bit, but look at this. This is a good view of too much blue. See, I get that turquoise. We don't want turquoise in this distance. We don't want that. That's not going to have quite the right look to it. Okay, so maybe I need to use my darker purple to make this more similar, so I get more gradual change from my closest to my furthest. So you can choose. You choose which one you want to do. I guess I need to have it at least as dark as this further one, because I'm making it get closer. So I'm just using my purples to mix in. It's always just a mixing color. It's never straight. It's just for mixing. And you mix it in to make your atmosphere, just like this. There we go. Let's put a little more black in some of this to get it to be just slightly closer than it was. Just a little bit. There we go. Lighter than this one, darker than this one. That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to do. Just want them to be. This is how you can get a lot of interesting depth and shape in your picture. Is trying to make multiple layers that all gradually get closer or further. There, that'll be just a touch darker than this one right here. Let's put some waterfalls on it. Let me just get I'm gonna get a smaller brush. Just leave this one. Maybe I'll do more landscape with it, but I'll get a smaller brush and do the waterfalls. Let's go over here and put some white, and we'll go. We got another waterfall in there. Let's go this way and go that way. Squiggle it down a little bit. Maybe it goes there and down there. So I think the what am I trying to say? The biggest difference maker here is having this gray violet color to distant anything that you want to look like distant mist, very affected by the color of the sky, the atmosphere. Have a lot of this blue violet color in it, and then having that bright top where you want it to bend to be more three-dimensional. Then we can put these all over. Oh, there's Zayden. Hold on, Zayden. Just wait for a minute, okay? That's my 5-year-old. We're gonna have to put this on pause, but fortunately we've got the same thing coming later today at 3 o'clock. So just in case you didn't get that email, we're gonna do this again. I'll continue this picture and finish it today at 3. I wanted to make 2 different times, for I know that you're all in very different time zones, and so I was thinking, well, maybe it's fun for everybody to have the opportunity to catch it live, but it's all recorded, it's all recorded so that you don't have to worry about missing it. We'll leave this posted publicly, so you can see me just fiddling around, making little shapes. It comes down, it hits something, splits apart, goes down again. I can just build little rocks in the background this way. And the last thing that I'll do is over in here on this fall, we can make, oh, look at that weird light on my painting. That's wild looking. That's coming in the window. Let me see something. Oh, it's not the room light. It's like a natural phenomenon on the painting. It's bouncing off a car or something. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to try to fix that right now because something will go wrong. I'm going to paint in here. Right on this waterfall, I'll show you how this purple is also just really helpful. So we can put this waterfall going out and down like this. This is waterfall in the shadow. And when I have this pre-mixed, it's just such a faster, more convenient process. So let's say that the sun is, I gotta decide at this point where I'm gonna put the sun coming from. So let's say that we've got it going down this way. Since we've got that edge of the cloud, we can imagine it kind of coming this way. So I can put shadow here, and then wherever I put pure white, I'll have this bright waterfall. I'm just going to dot little columns of water shooting down, coming over, and just use a very messy, impressionistic technique to look like the separating water as it comes down in little clouds like this. And then I just kind of dab over my edges to get rid of them. But look how that immediately bends so that we have shadow and light. And then if I put some shadow in here like this, let's do that same combo of colors that I did over here for my darker foreground. Let's put some rocks in here, right on the edge of this. So we've got something containing this big waterfall. Let's put some rocks in here. And then I'll just swipe that down at the base of these rocks. Like this. I can just pull those right down into the wet paint and then pull this purple color across if I want it to make it shooting out across, straight down if I want it to come straight down. You know, you can just have fun pulling the water the direction that you imagine it going. And of course, just remembering that, you know, wherever you have it bending away from the light, you can use that purple. And where it's bending toward the light, then we can put less of that purple shadow color. So here, let's put some rocks popping out of here. Put the white shooting down this way, like that. Maybe going down here over this rock. A couple little spots. We can put all kinds of little details in there because this is far away. And so if we make real big shapes, then we can lose our feel of being far away. So we want to use little shapes for distance. Whatever you do in here. This is kind of fun painting in this natural light. That's oh man, how perfect is that? Yeah, I'm gonna go shut the blinds real quick on that. Hang on, Zayden, I'll be right out. You gotta let me finish, okay? You have to wait. Okay, let's go like this. All right, hang on. I want you to see what this looks like without the window light on it. That's a funny little bit of contrast. It's so opportune, such a coincidence for that to happen just like that. Let's go like this and close this guy right there. There you go. So now you can see the effect that I'm going for. We have that purple next to the white, and this could just be a blue, violet, gray, violet, just a little bit of that violet. It creates this nice shadow, so that anywhere we have shadows, we get that depth in atmosphere. Okay, I'm going to switch over. We're going to do more with this later this afternoon if you would like to join. And so let me get back here and wrap this up, see what we're talking about there on the live chat. And I'm reading right now. So if you want to leave any last comments, again, I want to say thank you very much for sticking around. We had a tough time this morning. Video didn't even post publicly, so I'm just telling myself that's why the lower than usual number of viewers. Not that you all are not very, very appreciated. I'm so glad that all 27 of you are here right now. I'm not disappointed about that low number, but it is low compared to the norm. So I'm going to tell myself, it's just because of the technical failures, not because I'm less fun to hang out with than I used to be. But maybe. I looked away and I thought that the light was something that you painted on there. I know. You know what's funny is I was a paint contractor for several years, and you'll paint a wall. If you have things like that, the sun shining in on a wall, just barely, you'll think that you've got a wet spot because paint is lighter when it's wet. And so you'll wait for it to dry, or you'll think that it's a different color and you keep touching it up. You touch it up, you come back, it's still there. Man, the paint's bleeding through. I'm telling you, I've seen this happen over and over. And any painter, any painter that does this by trade knows what I'm talking about. You end up painting shadows trying to touch up work. Anyway, just a funny thing that happens. Okay, thank you. Hey, Simon, thank you for being here. I'm glad that you made it. Paula is here. All right, Paula, thank you for being here as well. Tried to find the beginning of this painting. Is there a video of the beginning? Yes, there is. So, I'm going to try to clean that up after this is over. Okay, I'm going to try to clean up the way those are posted. One of them I kept unlisted. The last one I recorded I kept unlisted, but that wasn't the beginning. They're all live streams. This whole painting was done with live streams, so just have to look for them that way. I'll try to organize them by title, put them in a playlist so they're easier to find. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Japa. And I'm just looking, seeing if there's anything I'm missing. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. Don't shut the blinds, says Mary. Well, we saw it both ways. It's recorded. We saw it with them. When you put it in a gallery, that's what you do. You know, you strategically light that one spot. Okay, I got to go and be a dad for a little bit. And then my family, they're going off to a beautiful place called Clear Creek here in Arizona, in Winslow. And so then I'm going to work on getting set up for the next show later this afternoon at 3 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So I'll be back today at that time. And hopefully that one will go smoother with the technical things. I can't promise. I'm so not an expert on these things, but I am going to try my very best. Thanks again. How's the boat, says Mary. I forgot I did mention that on a live stream. I got it working. And I learned a lot about carburetors. All right. Thanks for asking, Mary. We'll see you guys next time. I'm going to fade out and see you back again at 3 o'clock p.m. in a few hours here.